Happy New Year, everybody! We're back on a semi-normal schedule, and we are talking about more Godzilla stuff with Rob's Godzilla Room Reviews. There's your intro. Time to, stop, Today we are going to be talking about the Bandai creation Destoroyah figure, which, in all honesty, isn't that bad of a figure. I wish this one was in better condition. I bought this one secondhand. This was the best looking one out of the bunch on eBay at the time. This was my first Destoroyah figure ever. And then we got the Bandai Movie Monsters version of Destoroyah, and aside from lacking in size, it looks pretty good. But this version of Destoroyah, I honestly feel, is the better detail, a wilder paint job, and the only place this figure really, doesn't look that great is really in the face. But before we talk about all of that, I'm switching things up. Let's talk about articulation first. So this version of Destoroyah, as compared to the Bandai Movie Monsters version, actually has a lot more articulation. One of which being in the arms. The newer Destoroyah kind of just, dropped the ball on that. This Destoroyah also has articulation in the legs. So Destoroyah can sit like so. This is probably the goofiest thing I've ever seen. There's no articulation in the head, but there is articulation at the tip of the tail with this little crab claw tail here. There's no articulation at the base of the tail. This Destoroyah actually has 4 different points of articulation for the wings. So you can put the big wings back like so. As you can see, they fold up rather nicely. Depending on how you look at the figure and what angle you look at the figure, they're almost somewhat unnoticeable. And the smaller wings, as seen here, can actually turn upwards like so. Ooh, although I think they're kind of meant to be like this, because I guess they look less noticeable like that. I don't know. Bandai Creation's filled with a lot of very weird and unique ideas, so yeah, they can pretty much go all the way up and all the way down like so. An interesting little detail, considering the Bandai Movie Monsters version of Destoroyah actually has these 2 wings molded to the back of the figure. It still doesn't sit too well with me. I think that was pretty stupid on their part. Alright, we've talked about articulation. Let's talk about paint and detail. First, let's talk about the face. Now, everything around the face, I honestly feel, is pretty good. This devilish crown of horns that Destoroyah has on either side of his head, they look fantastic. Got some really great detail, different shades of color on there. It's just this. I don't know. I mean, I guess for the time that this was released, it looks okay. I mean, he kind of looks like a pissed off Muppet. The eyes don't feel right. The teeth are pretty crappily painted. The horns on the side of the face look pretty nice. Little splotchy here and there. And the horn looks pretty good too, but if we just move the camera up a little bit, thank you, cameraman, the horn is somewhat marked up. But I like that it's not just all yellow. It looks like, there's skin forming and then it comes to a rise with the yellowness of the horn. It looks very, very nice, despite being marked up. Moving down to the shoulder, chest, torso, and arm area. That's a lot to say. We've got this collection of horns on Destoroyah's chest, which are all of this rustic looking gold. Not screen accurate, but interesting. We've got horns on either shoulder. Lots of really fantastic detail on the chest. We've got Destoroyah's nubby little useless arms and fingers, I guess you could say, over here. They're looking nice. Nice detail on the arms. The detail on the neck is actually really nice too. I like that it's layered and you can feel the layers in the detail. Seriously, aside from Destoroyah's muffed up gremlin looking face, this is actually a really nice figure. Moving down to the crotchal and leg area, we've got more great detail and paint strewn about on the figure over here, especially when it comes to the areas with the horns. I just love that the horns are individually painted, at least on the kneecaps, and I like that the paint really molds well with each other. It looks like the horns are growing out of the skin, like they're protruding. They don't just look like, they're there. While the problem I have with the Bandai Movie Monsters version of Destoroyah is present on this figure around the toes and everything. It would have been nice if they just, kind of separated the toes from the feet when it comes to the paint. It does look very nice, and again, we've got more great detail, especially on the shins over here and around the toenails. Destoroyah got them tree trunk legs, but they're very nice looking tree trunk legs. A little marked up, but seriously, the detail, my god. Moving towards the back of the figure, the base color for the figure separates separates the wings from the membranes of the wings. A dark grayish, putrid, grayish purple, I guess you could say. Mixed with pink, it looks nice. It breaks the figure apart. It breaks the wings apart, most importantly. We've got more of that rustic orange on Destoroyah's back. Destoroyah is quite the fashionable kaiju. Look at that. Two-tone horns. What's going on there? The rustic orange that is present on Destoroyah's back does follow through with on the tail, but it's a little bit darker and it doesn't really match too well. See what I'm talking about? A little bit brighter. A lot darker, but at least the opposite side of the tail matches the underside of Destoroyah's tail. And that's pretty much it. Paint-wise and detail-wise, this might not be a screen-accurate Destoroyah, but bend your ear with me really quick. It's an interesting take on Destoroyah. I mean, it looks enough like Destoroyah minus that friggin' gremlin phase, and the paint is interesting, it's eye-catching, it's different. Yeah, it looks like Destoroyah, but Destoroyah wasn't really rocking the metallics in the movie, if you know what I mean. And, you know, this figure really isn't an upset. I actually prefer this figure to the Bandai Movie Monsters version. Seriously, if I had a fresh out the box version of this figure with no marks and better paint and everything, I would honestly have this on the shelves instead of the Bandai Movie Monsters version. The Bandai Movie Monsters version, while nice and looking like Destoroyah and everything, it was underwhelming. I'll leave a link to that at the end of the video. But anyway, that has been the Bandai Creation Destoroyah figure. Why don't you comment down below and tell me how you feel about this Destoroyah figure? Do you have the new Bandai Movie Monsters version? Do you have the original Japanese released version? Do you have another version of Destoroyah from Bandai that I am not aware of? Anything and all Destoroyah, Godzilla vs. Destoroyah, Bandai Creation, anything about this figure in general, just comment down below and tell me. I will see you all on Friday and Saturday with more Bandai Creation goodness. Until then, may Skreonk be with you all.